Okay, Cosmo and I are now going to demonstrate some of the other parts of the camera here, some of the other buttons here, so you know what they do, okay? Starting again from the front here, you've got a thing that says gain, and it has an H, an M, and an L. Now, if you're in a really low light situation and you've opened up your iris as much as possible and you're still having an issue, like if you're shooting at night, you can bump the gain up. It's kind of an electronic control that kind of goes beyond what the iris can do, what the aperture can do. And L stands for low, or basically, you know, almost not on, and then M, medium, H, high. The problem with setting it to medium and especially to high is that you do lose some quality, and it gets more and more grainy, basically. So you want to be careful about how you set that or how often you set that. And you want to make sure it's not set to medium or high when you're shooting. Just check that to make sure it's all the way down there. You have your white balance button here too. There's a preset, then A and B, and the only reason there's an A and B is if you are dealing with two separate situations and you need to switch quickly, you would set it like, you know, if you're following someone outside, from walking from inside of a building to outside, you could set your white balance in A for inside and B for outside, and then flip that switch basically. But it usually will stay on A most of the time. 3200K and 5600K. These are filters. Now, if you put 5600K on, if you're outside, again, that will help you with, it's actually another, not a neutral density filter or ND filter, but a different kind of filter for bright sunlight. But again, re-white balance, when you change any of these filters or when you adjust the iris, make sure you re-white balance because the camera's reading a different kind of lighting then. Okay? You have auto mode on or off. You want to make sure that's off. Now here you have a monitor dial, and this monitor dial basically monitors the level of sound that's in your headphones. Here's your headphone jack up here, okay? You plug your headphones in and you can monitor the level, but again, that's just monitoring the volume of the headphones. It's not monitoring the level that's going on your tape. Your best monitor is actually inside the viewfinder on the bars that are moving, or the VU meter that's moving. You want to check that and make sure that it's getting close to peaking when somebody is talking. If it's not, then adjust the mic position, check the mic, make sure the settings are right. And again, use headphones because you could be picking up a lot of background noise that is creating that higher level, but you don't know it, but it's actually background noise. Okay? Now, speaking of audio, if we flip this open, you have, and again, here's your audio monitor here too. You have channel 1, channel 2, and mix. If you want to hear what's going on both channels, you just push it in the middle. If you want to hear what's going on just on channel 1 or channel 2, you switch to that. If you're not hearing anything through the headphones, it could be that this is switched to the wrong channel if you have your mic plugged into channel 2 and it's set to channel 1 or vice versa. Okay? And then again, in the back here, you have 2 channels to plug mic cables into. And of course, you also have a camera mic, which you can use to pick up natural sound. What I would suggest is, again, before you start shooting, these are things you should check out. Make sure that one of these channels, maybe usually channel 1, is set to the front so that you're at least getting that sound. Because if not, let's say you're taping a musical rehearsal and both of these are set to rear and there's no mic plugged in, you're not going to get any audio, and you're going to come back and you're going to have any audio for the actual B-roll of the musical, okay? So make sure one of these is set to front, and then one of them can be set to rear, in this case channel 2, so I'd plug my mic into channel 2, and then you have level adjusters. Now these are level adjusters, not just monitoring levels. This will boost the level of the signal in case it's weak, and you should check it to make sure it's at a decent level, because I've seen them sometimes set either really high to where it'll come back really distorted, or really low to where you can barely hear it, and then you wonder why you're not getting audio. Okay? Now, I showed you this before, the color viewfinder. Oh, pretty. Yeah, it is pretty. And it's nice, and it's a nice backup, but again, you also want to use the black and white one, and this will drain your battery quicker if you have this open. But down here, Cosmo pointed out the LCD brightness. Okay? This LCD brightness only shows you or adjusts the brightness of what's in this screen. Okay, it's not showing you how much light is coming into the camera or anything. It's just this screen. So My advice, don't touch it, okay? Because you can really throw someone off because they think, oh, my video is dark, when it's really just someone's been messing with this thinking I'm adjusting the light that's coming in the camera. And that's not the case, okay? The back here is your battery compartment. And you basically just put it in from the side. Make sure you have 2 charged batteries before you leave the equipment room. Okay? Put it in from the side and then release it by pushing this button and sliding it out. Just line this up and away we go. And then, let's switch this around here, let's see. On this side is the place where you're going to put your tape in. And you put it in with the spools facing, the white spools facing the inside. Just put it in and then we'll grab it and put it in there. You don't want to push too hard. And there's an eject button on top as well. Now, if you want to watch your tape on this camera, there's something you're going to have to do. Down here next to the power switch is a toggle switch that goes between memory, camera, and VTR. Okay? Memory is if you're using a memory stick with pictures, you don't have to worry about that. Camera is what it's set on most of the time when you're shooting. And then VTR, you switch that down and you can watch your tape. And there's, if you flip this button up here, you can play, rewind, fast forward, and do whatever you need. And again, it will save you time if you're working on a news story to watch your tape in the camera, listen to the sound bites, listen to the interviews, grab your sound bites, and write things down so that you can, from there, write your script. Okay, I'm going to switch this back up to camera to make sure. Now, there's something else too. We were talking about the lighting and how you can tell with the f-stop number earlier. There's another way too that gives you a good indicator. There's something here called the zebra. And zebra basically is an indicator, basically. It's not showing up on the tape. If you're looking in the viewfinder, you'll see little stripes. And that's basically showing you what is its 70% brightness. What's the brightest part of your shot and what's the 70% brightness. If you switch it down to 100, it tells you what's at 100% brightness. There shouldn't be too many things at 100% brightness. If there are, you need to adjust your iris, okay? It's just an indicator. It's just a little monitor to make sure that things aren't too bright or too dim for that matter, but usually too bright. But once you're done doing that, you can go ahead and just switch it off so it doesn't distract you, basically. Okay? And that's the basic camera setup. Did I cover everything, Cosmo? I think so. Lens cap? The lens cap. They know the lens cap. If the lens cap is on, they know. It's in the front here. Okay. That was good. That was good. Okay. I think that's everything.